The Bank of International Settlements, that's BIS, whose job it is to support the central bank's pursuit of monetary and financial stability, have just released a report on the use of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. There's loads of varying articles in the press about this, so check these out, and I'll break down the details on what the BIS are considering. Also, the EU is proposing a framework for a European digital identity, announced in a press release from the EU Commission on the 3rd of June. This isn't the first time they've mentioned this, so I want to talk about this a little bit because it ties in a little bit with the BIS report. Now, I'm Josh and I run ATM Stake Pool, ATM1. Please do support us by delegating to ATM1. We don't run adverts on any of our videos and we're the only pool offering a range of free services to its delegators. We were briefly on the ITN, and ATM1 has been here since the first day of Shelley launch, and we will be here till the day we die. Remember, it's completely free to like, share and subscribe to my channel. It would be great to hear any feedback you have below. Now, the European digital identity. This press release was out on the 3rd of June, but they've been on about this for a while. Ursula von der Leyen, that's the president of the European Commission, said at the end of last year,
Jedes Mal, wenn eine Website uns auffordert, eine neue digitale Identität zu erstellen oder uns bequem über eine große Plattform anzumelden, haben wir in Wirklichkeit keine Ahnung, was eigentlich mit unseren Daten passiert. Und aus diesem Grund wird die Kommission demnächst eine sichere europäische digitale Identität vorschlagen. Eine, der wir vertrauen und die Bürgerinnen und Bürger überall in Europa nutzen können, um alles zu tun, vom Steuerzahlen bis zum Fahrradmieten. Eine Technologie, bei der wir selbst kontrollieren können, welche Daten ausgetauscht und wie sie verwendet werden.
The EU has already said previously that it wants to be the leader in blockchain technology. What this means, I don't know. Who knows? What we do know is how much funding and where it's going. So, 180 million euros has already been spent in research and innovation in blockchain, and it looks like a total of 400 million will be spent through different funds. Sounds like a lot, but the Cardano Foundation has hundreds of millions earmarked just for Cardano projects. But getting back to the EU though, they've outlined their intention of what the digital identities will be. Available to anyone who wants to use it. Any EU citizen, resident and business in the Union who would like to make use of the European digital identity will be able to do so. Widely usable. The European digital identity wallet, I stress they use the term wallet here, will be usable widely as a way either to identify users or to prove certain personal attributes for the purpose of access to public and private digital services across the Union. Users in control of their data. The European Digital Identity Wallet will enable people to choose which aspects of their identity, data and certificates they share with third parties, and to keep track of such sharing. User control ensures that only information that needs to be shared will be shared. So how will this help us in the real world? Right. So let's use the example the EU gave us and take a bank loan, for example. So they want it to go from this with a minimum of 6 steps. As you can see, if you miss some data, you've got to go back some steps. And they want to go to this. As you can see, much simpler with a maximum of 3 steps. They want this to happen fast. Now, this proposal came with a recommendation. They want to establish a common toolbox with member states by September next year. That's 2022. The toolbox would be technical architecture, standards and guidelines for best practices. In my view, if the EU lead the way on this, there's a chance the whole world could use the same or a similar system, making it interoperable with other countries outside of Europe. Now, the EU are funding a number of blockchain projects, and here's a list of some of them. I just want to take a look at the first project on the list, Privilege. And if we just follow to the website, all looks very nice. Just have a quick look at this video, scan to the end. Oh, look, It's a Cardano project. What a surprise! The BIS recognised that many central banks are actively engaged in work on CBDCs as an advanced representation of central bank money for the digital economy. They say wholesale account-based CBDCs, wholesale is like merchant to bank or bank to bank, and central bank reserves operate in a very similar way. Settlement is made by debiting the account of the bank that has the net obligation to the rest of the system and crediting the account to the bank that has the net claim on the system. So this would be more like the Ethereum account model rather than the EUTXO model that Cardano uses. So please comment below if you have a good reason why they wouldn't be considering that. One major benefit that got them aroused is smart contracts, requiring that a payment only settles on the condition of delivery of another payment or delivery of asset. EUTXO can do that too though, but they seem to want to stick with the account-based system. Going further, they said wholesale CBDCs would be implemented on new technology stacks. This clean slate approach means systems can be designed with international standards in mind to support interoperability. So there's a big impetus on interoperability. But this is all wholesale. However, the retail side, that's me paying you, seems to get more complicated. From their perspective, crypto changes the conventional two-tier monetary system in that they make central bank digital money available to the general public, just as cash is available to the general public as a direct claim on the central bank. Retail CBDCs come in two variants. One option makes for a cash-like design, allowing for token-based access that gives anonymity in payments. This option would give individual users access to the CBDC private and public keys. Other approaches built on account-based access and would be rooted in some digital identity scheme. Obviously, the second approach is more compatible with the monitoring of illicit activity in a payment system, and wouldn't rule out preserving privacy either. Well designed, from the BIS point of view, CBDCs and fast payment services, FPS, have a number of things in common. They both enable competing providers to offer services through a range of interfaces like debit cards, smartphones, apps and whatnot. One difference is that a CBDC payment only involves transferring a direct claim on the central bank from one end user to another. Funds do not pass over the balance sheet of an intermediary, and transactions are settled directly in central bank money on central banks' balance sheets and in real time. By contrast, in an FPS, the retail payee receives the final funds immediately, but the underlying wholesale settlement between providers is often deferred. This delay means that technically there is a short-term loan between parties. Together with underlying credit risk on those exposures, the payee's bank credits its account in real time while it has an account payable. So basically, I can send you money on a Saturday night and you get the money straight away. But in the back end, it hasn't actually completed yet. So one of the banks still owes money to the other bank. Anyway, a CBDC can be more direct than that, eliminating the need for intermediary credit. So look at the top of this picture. Basically, money is sent to the central bank and then to the recipient. I know, why bother when we can send it directly, right? But there we go, it's centralised. Obviously, the central bank doesn't want to be processing all transactions in real time. That would be a huge pain in the ass, but it's still a viable solution to tracking all transactions. Next down is a solution in which the private sector onboards all clients, is responsible for enforcing regulations, and conducts all retail payments in real time. However, the central bank is still recording all transactions, albeit not in real time. This hybrid CBDC model allows the central bank to act as a fail-safe to the payment system. Should a provider fail, the central bank has the necessary information. I think this is the model the Chinese are going for with their CBDC, I think. But the next down is another option in which the central bank doesn't record retail transactions, but only the wholesale balances of individual payment providers. The detailed records of retail transactions are maintained by the providers. The benefits of this intermediated model for them would be a diminished need for centralised data collection due to the decentralised nature of the record keeping. By reducing the concentration of data, it could also enhance the privacy. The downside is that providers would need to be supervised to ensure that the wholesale holdings they communicate to the central bank accurately reflect the retail holdings of their clients. An important aspect of a CBDC or any crypto is the ledger, which, as you probably know, records who's paid what to whom and when. So the BIS and the central banks have a choice. Do they want a CBDC that relies on a trusted central authority to maintain the ledger? Or whether it's based on a decentralized governance system? In essence, they will take ideas from the real decentralized cryptocurrencies, but assert their control to curb money laundering or any other illicit activity by allowing validation only by a network of vetted, permissioned validators. This is all well and good, but they can't do it without a proper digital identification. The BIS says this calls for a CBDC that is tied to a digital identity, but with safeguards on data privacy as additional features. They want a digital identity scheme which could combine information from a variety of sources to circumvent the need for paper-based documentation. By drawing on information from national registries and from other public and private sources, a digital ID serves to establish individual identities online. As mentioned earlier, it opens up access to a range of digital services like opening a bank account or even shopping online. Assuming that CBDCs are to be account-based, an important question is who should verify the identity of an individual seeking to join the network? And how will it be done? Digital ID schemes already exist in many countries, but it's not standardized at all, and they vary massively. I can't speak for how well they work in each country. However, this one in the UK, we have Verify, and it's total crap. So, where is all this leading? If central banks retain control over cross-border usage of their currency, they could restrict non-residents' access to their currencies to certain permitted transactions only, which sounds kind of scary. They see it like the current rules governing how non-residents can open bank accounts outside their home country. But still, I envisage innocent people having their money cut off because their home government did something that upset the government they're in now. But in conclusion, it's a funny report. They recognise the benefits of crypto, however, only if it's theirs. They know how efficient it is, how much cheaper it is, the benefits of smart contracts and the ability to create digital identities. But for some reason still think it works against the public good element that underpins the payment system. We can be pretty certain it will be an account-based CBDC built on digital ID with some kind of official involvement. My only guess about their fixation on the account-based model is that that's what they know best. If someone knows why it wouldn't be EUTXO, please do comment below. That would help us all out, I think. But more to the point, they have confirmed that they are fully engaged in the development of retail and wholesale CBDCs and that international collaboration will be paramount. So I have no doubt there will be collaboration with the EU and from the private sector. An important part to me is that it works across borders. Anything that brings the world closer together goes down well with me. But, and there is a big but, I'm all in favour of CBDCs, but not at the cost of our current fully decentralised system. So thank you for watching. Please do support us by delegating your ADA to ATM1, and also like, share and subscribe to more news and updates, and would love to hear your feedback below. Thank you very much.